Hello guys, welcome to the 8th lesson in this VueJS course. And in this lesson, we're going to be looking at something very interesting, how to make our apps, our VueJS apps looks better. And we're looking at the styling options in VueJS. So what exactly are the styling options we have in VueJS? Okay, the first is we have global style sheets like you would do with your regular HTML, CSS, JavaScript project or project in any other framework. So you could basically just create a CSS file and link it up to your add it to your view, import it to your view app, and then you can start selecting different classes using different selector id selectors, etc. And you are very much familiar with this. You can make use of it, which is fine and well. Okay, and we have component style sheet. And for component style sheets, we have two main options. We have the global, which is by default, and the scoped. And similar to the global style sheet, even if you create, let's say you have a component one which is nested somewhere, and you add a styles a style to it. Remember that in our component structure we have the style, we have the template, we have the script, and then we have the style. Okay, so every style added by default is also kind of a globally applied. Okay, and then you can also scope this style, which I would show you, so that it only applies to that particular component. And the third option we have is preprocessors. You can make use of preprocessors such as SASS. Okay, and there are two ways you can also do that. You can manually use a preprocessor file somewhere, and then which is going to compile into CSS at build time. Or you could use the style options, inside of your style tag in your components. Okay, you could make specify and tell Vue that, oh, I'm not just using CSS here, I want to use maybe SCSS or other. And the fourth option you have is making use of UI libraries or CSS frameworks. Okay, there are tons of them you could decide to use. We have Ant Design Vue, we have Burma, we have Chakra UI, we have Bootstrap Vue, and the one we're going to be making use of, which is Tailwind CSS. So without any further ado, let's look at some of these styling options we have. Okay, so I'm back here inside of my project. So the first I want to show you is global style sheet, how to work with global style sheet in Vue.js. Let's do something. First, right here in my SLC, my assets folder, I'm going to create a file which is going to be global.css. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to do something like body, and then once I select the body, I want the background color to be, let's see, and then I want the text color to be okay, white is okay. All right, let's save that and let's see how we can actually make that show up or get applied right here. Okay, let's come to our src. Now inside main.js, I'm going to import this particular app. So I'm going to say import and then the directory. So we are coming to src. I'm just going to do this and then assets and then global.css. All right, let's save that and let's see if that gets applied. You can see that got applied right here. So we got to change the background color and we see the styles right here added. All right, fine. So what about if we want to actually use the second method, which is adding styles in our component? Now we've seen some of that. Okay, we've seen some of the styles we can add. So one of the things I could decide to do is, okay, I can say right here, I select all paragraphs and then the color, I want it to be, let's say, red. Now let's see. Now, like I said earlier, every styles added here automatically, it's actually global. Now if we should, one way to demo that is by this paragraph that I selected. Now despite the fact that this is another component here, okay, it's actually going to apply, and it's not just because every other component is nested in. If let's say I should come to this component one and I should copy this, so I'm just going to copy this away and then I'm going to paste it right here. Now we're still going to see it apply. Okay, let's save that. Okay, I think we either need to remove this or add a lang equals to. All right, let's see. So we see it still got applied. Okay, so that shows that automatically every style added inside of this style tag is global. And if you should come here and you should come to our head section, and we should see select this style tag here, we're going to see that particular style we added. So everything is actually compiled and it's actually added to the head tag, so that automatically exposes it and make it global. All right, another thing we can do to demo that, I can say, okay, text or let's say font size, I want it to be, let's say, 40 pixels. If I should take that and I change the color to white, we're going to see that would apply globally. Okay, we see that applied, and if we should come here, we're going to see that particular style, even though it's from a different component. So then you might ask, what is the point? What is the point of then having all this style tag here, and if I just maybe want to add to this style this particular component? Now there's a way you can do that. Okay, you can add an attribute which is scoped. Okay, so add scoped right here, and if I should save it, you're going to see a difference. This is only going to apply to this component. So basically what I'm telling Vue is I want this style to be added only to this particular component. But how does Vue actually handle this? Now if we should come and let's inspect this particular component, we're going to see that it has a data equals to this and this here, right here. So it added a data attribute right here. So basically how it works is, why Vue is compiling it's going to add all these extra HTML attributes for special selection, and you can see right here it selected this P and then added this unique ID here to select it, so that this only applies to this. Okay, so that's how you can scope CSS styles to a particular component. Okay, and if we should come here, I think the CSS style should still be here. We can see it right here. It still put it right here in the head, but we can see it added a unique attribute, data attribute to it. All right, which is fine and well. But one thing I want to note about this scope style scoping is that in some cases it might be a bit reduce the performance, because now look at it. Right now we are scoping, okay, the styles to this component one, which is fine and well, which doesn't affect us much. But what if we have thousands and thousands of components and we decide to keep scoping everything? Now Vue will have to do more work by injecting extra unique ID to each one of those components, to each one of the HTML elements in those components, which actually reduces and could affect the performance a bit. Okay, so that's that about scoped styles, and let's look at some other things. Now inside of our style tag, we can specify some things such as, okay, language is equals to CSS. Okay, this is automatically the default, and we can also have other options. Okay, we can decide to use let's say LESS. Okay, we can decide to use that. So you can decide to use preprocessors right here, and let Vue know that, okay, I'm trying to use a particular language that is more than CSS, okay, such as SAS, etc. Okay, so that's that on that. Now another thing I want to show you is, okay, dynamic, a kind of like dynamic CSS styles or binding. Okay, so here's what we can do right here. We can say class equals to, now one thing we can do is, apart from using scope, we can also use module. Okay, so now this basically treats these styles as a module, and the way we actually access that is, I'm going to use a bit of binding, and I'm going to say style. Okay, there should be a $sign here, style dot, and then we're going to say text. So basically what I want to do is I want to change this to the text. Okay, now let's save that, and we should still see it work. It's still basically working. And if we should come here, down here, okay, not here, I think this should be it. Okay, we can see what we have, what we got actually. It's a bit different from what we actually selected. We selected a text, but we actually binded it to this particular class. So that's one way to go about it. Now, another thing I want to actually show you is I can decide to return a color here. Let's say a color, and let's say it's white, red, and then if I want to use this particular color here, what I will do is I'm just going to do v bind, and then I'm going to say color. Okay, let's save that, and we should still have, okay, it's work. We see it's actually binded that. And another thing is we can change the color again, so white. So we can see that view actually makes gives us various options. And the third option is, okay, bringing in an external library, okay, to undo all of this styling, okay, render some beautiful components that have been pre-styled. Okay, and we're going to be looking at one of that in the very next lesson. I'll see you there.